Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my subscribers, but returning, but new ones. I really appreciate your support, appreciate your comments, your questions, everything. Thank you so much. And I'm really glad that these videos are helpful to you one way or the other. So I got a message from someone who watches my video, and she suggested if I could do a video talking about what the prospects were for people after doing OSPAP and that's in terms of like jobs, visas, work permits and things like that. I actually wanted to do this video but much more later, but I just realized, especially with her question, that that is a really important video to do, because let's face it, doing OSPAP is a very expensive venture. I mean, we're looking at between 15 to 20,000 minimum, 20,000 pounds, 15,000 pounds to 20,000 pounds. Let's put pounds in there. So that's a lot of money. And of course, you want to know what your prospects are. Is it worth it? Would you be able to get your money back and that sort of thing? So today I'm going to try my very best and answer some of the questions, or kind of address it as much as I can, because I don't think it's an easy thing to say, yes, you get all your money, or no, you will not get your money. It all depends on several factors. But today I'm going to look at the work permits and visas that you can get after your OSPAP, and I'm going to look at job prospects as well. And I hope that would really help you to make your choice or decision on when to do your OSPAP. So currently we don't have a post-study work visa yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what would happen currently without the post-study work visa, and I'll also talk about what would happen with a post-study work visa when it comes in 2021. I think it's September 2021. And then I'll also talk about job prospects that you might get. And I'll try and answer if it's worth doing OSPAP in terms of getting your money back. But as I said, I don't know if I'll be able to answer that. Okay, so right, let's get into the video. So currently, as I said, we don't have the post-study work visa, which means if you came in for your OSPAP, you'll be coming on a tier 4 student, assuming you're not in the UK already, or you're not coming in as a dependent. But most people, I believe, will come on a student visa, which is the tier 4 visa. Okay, so when you come in to do your OSPAP, hopefully you should have got your pre-reg place before starting. But if you don't, as I said in my previous video, it's fine. You can still get a pre-reg place. But what you're looking for when you're getting a pre-reg place is that you're looking for an organization that will sponsor you with their tier 2 license. Tier 2 is the working permit, or the work permit, or the work visa permit, as people call it. Okay, so that's kind of what you'll be looking to do. Once you've finished your OSPAP and passed, and you're ready to move into your pre-reg, I think 3 months before, you can actually apply for the tier 2 visa. Okay, so the tier 2 visa usually I felt was about a maximum of 3 years, but I've learned recently that it would depend on how long your contract is with the organization. So for example, I heard that some organizations, if they're going to sponsor you as a pre-reg, then your tier 2 visa would be valid for just 1 year, which is the year of the pre-reg. And after your pre-reg, if they're willing to maybe offer you an employment, then they would extend it to however many more years, up to a maximum of 3 years. But yeah, so that's kind of what it do. Some organizations will just, let you have the 3-year contract because they believe they might want to keep you. But it all depends on the organization. I think it's one of the questions that you might want to ask them when you go for interviews and things like that. Obviously, things can change, but you can always ask them. Okay, so when you have a tier 2 visa, as I said, it's usually a maximum of 3 years. And after 3 years, you can extend it again to another 3 or 2 years, depending. With a tier 2 visa, you'd also pay the health surcharge fee and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so you finished your OSPAP and you're doing your pre-reg and you have the tier 2 visa. At that point, you would also start looking for places for a normal, a regular job as a pharmacist, provided you have passed your pre-reg and also the exam. But you need to do it before then anyway, because you're going to be doing it in faith, and you can't leave it till last minute because that would take a while. I know when I was doing my pre-reg, I started applying for jobs as a pharmacist from April, May. I hadn't even done the exam. The exam was done in June, and I remember even in June I still had interviews to go for. So you need to apply early for jobs during your pre-reg, such that when you've taken the exam, you at least have an offer, or you're still going for interviews. You don't want to do it late. But some people leave it late. But I mean, when you need a visa, you kind of don't want things slipping up, because your stay in the country is dependent on a visa. Okay, So that's what you do. And let's say you get your employer and they, give you a sponsor license, and you're able to apply for up to another 3 years. So that's 4, maybe another 4 years or whatever. But in total, when you have stayed on a tier 2 visa or any working visa for 5 years, then you'll be eligible to apply for something called the indefinite leave to remain, which is called the permanent residency, as most people know. So once you have the indefinite leave to remain, it means you're free from any kind of immigration rules. So you're not going to be paying surcharges, you're not going to apply for visa. And after 1 year on your permanent residence kind of permit, or, on ILR, then you can apply to be a British citizen. So that's kind of the pathway for you to become a British citizen. It's kind of straightforward as far as like you're on a tier 2 visa, you're not doing anything out of the ordinary, you're not breaking any immigration rules, you're not committing crimes or anything. It will be a straightforward process. I mean, I think for the ILR, you have to write the Life in the UK test and a couple of other things that you have to meet. But generally, it is a straightforward route. And most people I know who were on a tier 2 visa and, extended different times, they're eligible for ILR after their 5 years, and most are actually British citizens as well. So it's, unless something really out of the ordinary happens, or maybe they change the rules and all that. But all the information will be in the description box, and I'll leave the links to gov.uk website so you can check out what kinds of visas are available. So that is currently what's happening now. But when they bring the post-study work visa, it means that you can actually apply for a job without needing to be sponsored. So once you're doing your OSPAP from tier 4, you can apply maybe just towards the end for a post-study work visa. And with that, you don't need an employer for that. You don't need a license. So once you get that, it means you can work for any employer. And I think it's usually valid for 2 years. So I had my post-study work visa, but that was a couple of years ago before they actually scrapped it. I think I might have been the set before they cancelled it. But yeah, it was a little while ago. So I did get the post-study work visa, and it's straightforward. As far as you have your MSc certificates, it's a points-based system, and a couple of other things, but it's really straightforward, to be honest. And I don't know anyone who didn't get a post-study work visa at that time, so far as they graduated and they passed and everything like that. Okay, so it is straightforward. Now, when you have a post-study work visa, it just means that extra stress of rushing, looking for someone to sponsor you to get a job will be removed, and you'll be able to apply, a little bit more in a relaxed form. You're not going to be tensed up. And I think post-study work visas are usually valid for 2 years. I know ours was, but I don't know what this new one would be like. We would know, I think, sometime maybe beginning of next year. They'll bring a little bit more details about what that visa would be like. So that's kind of really what the route would be when the post-study work visa comes. It just means that you can work for 2 years, but after that 2 years, you still would need a tier 2 visa or another kind of working visa. I know there's that health and social care visa, but I don't know much about it, but I feel like most people would, go into that kind of visa as well. I'm not really looked into it, so I don't know a lot of information about it, but I'm just going through the tier 2 route, which is the most popular route. Okay, so once you have your working visa and you've been here for 5 years, you get your ILR, permanent residency, and become a British citizen. So that's kind of in 6 years, you will become a British citizen from, the time you started your tier 2. What I don't know about a post-study work visa is if they're going to allow you count the 2 years there towards getting your permanent residency. I know in my own time they did not accept the 2 years, so it didn't count towards your 5 years for your indefinite leave to remain. So that's something to bear in mind. But who knows, when they bring out the rules, we will know if they're going to add that in. So that's pretty much it about the visa prospects. And to be honest, most organizations, as I said earlier, they will be willing to sponsor you. It's not difficult. It just means that you might just move to another place. You probably would move from London or very busy cities where they have a lot of pharmacists, and you might want to move to other places where there are not many pharmacists and they're willing to sponsor you. So that's kind of something you need to do a little bit more research to find out what those areas would be. And you would know more when you come, because things change day by day even. Yeah. So don't be too stressed about it. The main thing is passing the OSPAP and passing your pre-reg exam and pre-reg in general, so that you can become a UK pharmacist. Now, in terms of job prospects, it's very similar to what I said about visas. There are a lot of jobs, to be honest. I know most people would say, oh, the pharmacy sector is saturated. It is true. And for example, I know in hospital, there are not many jobs as a hospital pharmacist as there were before. Well, they are still there because there are jobs in GP practices, which are new, is an evolving sector and is really interesting. So the jobs in GP surgeries or in the GP practice sector, there are jobs in community pharmacy. There are always jobs there, big ones, small ones, whatever. There are always jobs there. And ultimately, you can also locum, which means you're going to be self-employed and you're just going to be doing shifts in different community pharmacists. You can actually locum in hospital as well, or you can join an agency. So when you're self-employed, obviously you are not going to get sick pay, you're not going to get annual leave and things like that. You'll just work around it, but you will have a job. It just might mean you're moving to another place, or maybe working in a place you might not 100% like for a short time until you get to where you want to be. So there are jobs like I locumed in 2019. I had a full-time job, but every some weekends when I just felt like I would just locum maybe 4 hours or sometimes for a full day on a Saturday, and it was nice. It was interesting. I'm telling you, I always had shifts. There were shifts, and even till this moment, they email me. I haven't locumed at all throughout in 2020 because I didn't have the time to do it. But there will always be shifts. Look at Lloyd's Pharmacy. I know their locum system's really good. Most of the other pharmacies, they're very, very good. And if you want me to talk about, jobs or locums or things like that, I can do a video on that and talk about locum agencies that are really great, or how to apply to be a locum. So yeah, those are kind of the areas I wanted to touch. So in terms of talking about if it is worth it. So it's hard to say that you get all your money back, but you will get your money back. I don't know how long it would take. Usually, it could take a year if you're working so hard, you have a full-time job, you're locuming and all that kind of stuff. It is possible. I know people who have done that. You get in 2 years' time, because remember, you're going to be living in the UK, you're going to pay tax, you're going to have living costs and all that. So it's very hard to just say, you know what, like I would have this money, but you can, because let's say we're looking at it like, you want to get £500 every month to yourself to kind of cover how much you spent for OSPAP. Let's say you spent £15,000 on OSPAP. That's about, maybe you're looking at 30 months. So that's about 2 years, and that's how much you kind of want to put. Let's say you borrowed the money from someone and you were going to pay them £500 every month, right? And that would be for about 30 months. Yeah, 30 months. So yeah, it would take you about 2 years and some to do that, but it's not impossible. There are many, many ways. You can locum, you can have a full-time job, you can just work hard and you'll be able to get that amount if you borrowed it. Or yeah, it is doable, that's it, but you might just be burnt out. Okay, so yeah, just like with many other jobs, like it's not very easy to say yes, it's 100% you're going to get all your money back. It's hard to say, but if the question is it worth doing, the answer would be yes, it is worth doing, because pharmacy, or being a pharmacist in the UK, is one of the jobs I know that you will not lack jobs. You will find something somewhere. There are different sectors, there are different ways. You can be employed, you can be self-employed, it can be a combination of both. You will always have a job. I have friends who have come through OSPAP who are pharmacists, and I don't know any of them that are unemployed. None of them. They have something they're doing, and that's how beautiful the sector is. So yes, I would say it's worth it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box. I will answer them when I have time to do. I'm not always on YouTube, but when I am, I'll be able to answer the questions. I've also opened a new Instagram page for these videos. I've just called it OSPAP videos. I'll leave a link below. I think it'll be easier for me to like have conversations with you guys on there if you want to. So you can leave your comments, you can leave questions under that, and you can follow me on OSPAP videos and on Instagram. That will be so much more easier. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share this video, and thank you so much for watching and supporting. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.